Because the way she run around this villa, she like a Tasmanian devil.
What the f is wrong with you? Like, you're a bitch. Iris, can I pull you, please?
Hey, y'all, welcome back to the channel. You already know what time it is. It's Chic Hair, Chic TV. And listen, we are getting into the Love Island recap of episode 13 and 14. I know. Listen, it was a lot going on. It was jam-packed. And I'm here to break everything down. So we're going to start with episode 13. Now, as we know, Charlie is leaving the villa. Everybody's emotions are really high. So basically, Charlie's getting ready to go. Ace asks Austin, why would you pick Taylor? Because that did not make sense. Everybody was confused. Like, we had an opportunity to get HUDA out of the house. And now all hell is about to break loose. You got HUDA crying, you got Hannah breaking down crying, and everyone's just trying to navigate the feelings and what's happening. The biggest thing in the beginning of the episode was HUDA screaming at Jeremiah. He didn't have my back, I'm mad at him. And the fact that Jeremiah did not check on HUDA only heightened the emotions this night. I found it really funny that Austin and Jeremiah actually had a chat. This was the duo I was not expecting. Basically calling Nick a follower to Ace's every move. But if y'all sit and think, Nick is the follower, because why is it that every time Ace says, hey, I don't like the HUDA and Jeremiah relationship, he's agreeing, but he's also in HUDA's ear, talking about being on her side, supporting her. So it is a little weird that Nick is going back and forth every time someone is against this relationship, not even relationship, this love spat that is happening between HUDA and Jeremiah. I also found it really weird that Hannah was having this emotional breakdown about Charlie leaving. Charlie's like, promise me if you don't find no one, we can meet up outside the villa. And literally Hannah is just crying her eyes out. But it did not take Hannah too long to pull aside Pepe and basically said it was unfair to him and she really wanted to give it a try between the two. And I'm like, wow, your 60 seconds came and went because Charlie wasn't even gone that long. So HUDA does go ahead and pulls Ace aside because she did want to figure out where was his head at. He voted against me. I don't understand why. They be having all these chats. So I think HUDA was not expecting to see Ace vote against her. So when they go and sit down, the first thing HUDA says, hysterically crying, is, I just want to let you know I'm a mom. And if we notice, every time HUDA tries to use the fact that she's a mom to excuse her behavior. And Ace is like, I get that you're a mom, but at the same time, what you and Jeremiah have going on, it does not make sense. Ace feels as though you're in this villa together and y'all automatically clicked. It's giving scamming vibes, and she's just confused. But if we think about it, it does feel like Jeremiah and HUDA knew each other outside of the villa, and they came into the villa like, you know what, we're gonna win this money. That's just not how it's gonna work, and I am glad that America did what they needed to do. So at this point, HUDA's still upset. She's still crying. At this point, everybody's getting ready for bed. They're gonna put the night down and move on. Charlie's not in the villa no more. But as HUDA's in the shower, Jeremiah's walking the halls. He's listening to what HUDA's saying, and basically HUDA's calling out his name. She's calling him a bitch, saying she's done with him. And the fact that Jeremiah is listening made it even worse. Once HUDA gets out the shower, he's trying to console her just a little bit, but I think Jeremiah just was not quick enough for HUDA's liking. HUDA wanted Jeremiah to be up under her, asking her if she was okay. She was upset about the coupling, and we already knew what this was gonna look like. So guess what? Jeremiah said, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna go get in the bed. We're gonna start a fresh new day. HUDA's in the bed crying, and you got Jeremiah sleeping in the bed with Iris. Now again, this is a game. This is how it's supposed to go. But HUDA did not like that. HUDA was up all night watching Jeremiah's every move, except when it was time for the three bombshells to go on a date. So at this point, Iris and Jeremiah, Jalen and Olandria, and Pepe and Hannah go on a date. You got snorkeling, you got full body massages, and you got beach walks and talks and all that good stuff. And a few things that I noticed from these dates was Jalen is definitely handsy when it comes to Olandria. Like, she constantly talks about how it did take her time to get comfortable with Taylor. They doing full body massages. Now, at first I was gonna say Jalen, you was very respectful. But then when I turned and looked, Jalen, you was touching on the booty, rubbing down the body, and I don't feel like he took advantage of her, but I feel like he took advantage of the situation to try to get her to feel a way about him. If he was listening to her, he would have heard, you know what, I'm a slow burner and I'm not physical right off the bat. When it came down to Iris and Jeremiah's date, they did a little paddle sailing, paddle boating, whatever the case may be. They had their beach talk, and Jeremiah basically told Iris, you know what, I am glad that this happened. I do want to get to know you. Iris is constantly reassuring Jeremiah like she is interested in him, but it has been hard to connect with him because of the relationship that he's had with HUDA. And that's totally understandable, and I get Jeremiah still is going to have strong feelings for HUDA, but I am excited that he is a little bit more open to the possibility to exploring outside of what they had. And honestly, not for nothing, the comment that Hannah made was so insensitive. One, the body isn't even cold yet. Why would you reference Charlie as being like, why would you reference that? I just think it was so insensitive, and he's gonna watch it back, and he's not even gonna try to meet up with you, or he's gonna regret meeting up with you once you get out of the villa, because you went on your date with Pepe, y'all was laughing, y'all was hugging, y'all was having a real good time. To me, it was just so weird because you was crying like you was about to be sick when Charlie left. So now that Pepe's here, you don't really have any clouded judgment. You're so for Pepe. And I think that's just so fake. Like, I don't think that's a real connection. I think she's just moving whichever way the wind blows. So while everybody's on their date, you got all the other couples back at the villa. And you know what? Ace took initiative and said, I'm going to give more attention to Shelly. I'm going to cook her breakfast, but I'm going to make it fun. So he created like a ping pong game. Whoever hit the ping pong will get fed pancakes. You got Nick and Taylor cheering them on. The girls are sitting in the background. It is really nice to see that Ace is putting more effort when it comes to Shelly, because at the same time you have Austin, who's just moping around, upset, confused about where he's putting his feelings. It's like either Austin, you're going to move on or you're going to step up, because honestly, I'm tired of you complaining to this girl. Give her the opportunity to explore, but also you explore too. You're holding yourself back. So HUDA does get the opportunity to speak to Nick, and basically Nick said it wasn't personal. I was doing what seemed right in that moment, and HUDA's just like, I understand, but I thought our relationship was going a different way. And not for nothing, Nick is afraid of HUDA. So everything that Nick does say to HUDA, I think he's just sparing her feelings, which I wish everybody would stop doing and be honest with this girl. Like, why are y'all sparing her feelings? She needs to know. Like, I don't feel like y'all are really friends with this girl as much as y'all talk about sisterhood, this, sisterhood, that, when she's running around making a fool out of herself, but also being disrespectful to this man in this villa. And not for nothing, once again, he can't really do anything back. So everybody gets back to the villa, and if you pay attention, HUDA was dressed, covered up, you know, she was still having her moment, but as soon as they seen that ferry boat roll up, HUDA took her clothes off, put the sunglasses on, sat on the chair, and just shut down completely. And I don't think it was even her shutting down, she just was getting into fight mode. Like, she was ready to go off. Once the boat pulls up, Taylor and Olandria, they have their kiss. HUDA's literally still waiting for Jeremiah to come over, and everybody's just trying to figure out how the date went. So Jeremiah goes and speaks with the boys and basically saying like it was a really good date, and you know, he's excited to explore things with HUDA, and HUDA did not want to see or hear that. So she goes and sneaks over. She's listening to the conversation, which I thought was overstepping boundaries. Like, let the boys have their moment, and you go have your moment with the girls. You don't have to keep saying it's going to take a miracle for Jeremiah to come back to me. Like, let things play out for a second. And I love that when Iris went to speak with all the girls, she didn't give too much details. She told a little bit about the day. We had a general conversation, and she's really just being mindful of how these girls are moving in the villa. I'm not gonna say too much so you can use this against me. So the other night when I was put with Jeremiah, you had a whole vendetta against me. You went to go look for me. You stormed up those steps. Iris, can I talk to you? Like, my thing is, stop telling Iris she's a safe bet, because you're putting this in this girl's head. You're making it seem like Jeremiah's not interested. And I think Iris is definitely playing the game, right? Because at the end of the day, I do think Jeremiah is interested in Iris. But the problem is HUDA. One, you should have never even went up to the girl the way you did. I don't think Iris owes you anything when it comes down to telling about any date she's having with anybody. I think you're disrespectful. I think you're rude. And it's time for you to go. So at the end of the episode, basically Jeremiah does pull HUDA for a chat in the speakeasy. And HUDA is going off. She's just yelling at this boy. And at this point, I do feel bad for him. I feel like he was emotionally overstimulated. You know, he tries to explain to HUDA, I do apologize for not pulling you aside. But at the same time, HUDA doesn't want to hear that. HUDA's like, you could have just came over and said you was okay, which I understand. But you got everybody yelling, screaming, and breaking down. And as a person myself, I would just walk away from the situation. We're going to try this again in the morning, which he tried to explain to her. I just needed a night to sleep on things. But that conversation did not go any way that Jeremiah thought it was going to go. It went exactly how HUDA wanted to go. She was talking. She was saying everything. And it just was crazy. Like, I really just felt like, why didn't they send HUDA home? Here we go with another episode of the drama, and I'm sick of it. So now we on to episode 14, and we back to where we left off. HUDA and Jeremiah is still having a conversation, and HUDA goes, I think America wanted me to wait from you. You know, she was thanking God for this pair not to happen anymore. And Jeremiah said, hold on. Why do you think America got it right? I think America was on my side, and not for nothing, Jeremiah, we was on your side. HUDA, I don't know what you thought, but the way you have been treating this man, she sits in his face, calls him out his name. She talks to her friends and calls him out his name. It was amazing to actually see Sierra say something. I feel like Sierra was the only one who said, yo, HUDA, you want to maybe stop calling him out his name and, you know, give it a break? No, she don't care. And the girls even tried to talk to her, and HUDA said, I can't do this right now. She is impatient. She's selfish. Everybody's saying she's gaslighting everybody in the house, which I do think she is. And it's all about HUDA. It's the HUDA show. So while they're having their breakdown, you got Maya and Austin actually chatting. And if you remember, Maya and Austin shared a kiss on the dog. And I personally think that there is an energy between Austin and Amaya. I feel like a lot of people don't see that, which is fine. But I do feel like Austin is tired of the back and forth between Shelly and Ace. And it's like, let me actually focus on somebody who wants my attention. Let me focus on somebody who's in a couple who doesn't even want to be there. And I love this for them because they was actually able to get to talk a little bit more about themselves and really get to know each other. So Olandria and Taylor have their conversation, and Taylor was quick to bring up that body massage that Jalen gave Olandria. And I thought it was really interesting because she was honest, but she also let him know, like, you know what? We weren't physical in the beginning, and I feel like that's all Jalen has been with me, and it's a turnoff for her. I think in that moment there was a reassurance for Taylor to let him know there's nothing for you to worry about. Yes, we are coupled up, but if I was to choose, I would choose you. I feel like they have come a long way, and maybe they are my favorite couple right now because it is really nice to see that they genuinely like each other and they allowed themselves to grow. I'm still not over the fact that Taylor said he was not physically attracted to Olandria, but he's given it all he has. And I think it's a surface level thing when it comes to Taylor because who knows what his type is, because right now he's only been coupled up and really been in a relationship with Olandria. So by the end of the night, HUDA and Jeremiah were still having their conversation, and at the end of it, Jeremiah tries to get a hug. Jeremiah, why would you try to get a hug from this girl? You already see that she's upset. She's mad you're about to go back into the bed with Iris, which you did. Like, I think there's so much going on with HUDA. She's a mom. She's probably thinking of her kid. She's probably thinking about the guys where the relationship didn't work. And also in episode 13, Ace had a conversation with HUDA basically saying, like, the way you moving shows me a lot of how you was in previous relationships. And it's not good. It looks toxic. And how you're treating this man is toxic. So I don't know what cycle you're in, HUDA, but we do hope that you get out of it and you find the help that you need, because I don't think her being a villa is actually safe. So next morning comes, everybody there knows Jeremiah slept in the bed with Iris, and you had HUDA in the hallway break down and crying. Jeremiah actually tried to talk to HUDA in that moment to let her know, like, hey, I'm sorry I couldn't check on you, But again, this boy is sleeping. Even when they went on the date, Huda jumped up in the middle of the night, waking up Tilla, hey, they're not here. Like, I just think this is so much that Huda's doing. Like, let people sleep, because if you wake me up, it's going to be a problem, baby girl. You need to go sit down, okay? You need to go write in a journal. Maybe you need to go meditate. There's just so much. But pretty much, Tilla does bring Huda some breakfast. Jemiah is cooking her breakfast, but he was unsure. Like, should I go make her breakfast or should I not? But you know what? He still made her breakfast. And I think it was just nice to see that he was still trying to have a new day with her. But honestly, everybody in that house does not agree that they're together. Everyone is confused what is happening. So you have Nick, Sierra, Tilla, Olandria, Hannah, and Pepe. They all sitting having a conversation and basically saying like, yo, do you think they should get back together? Olandria's like, no. But Olandria, will you say this to your girl's face? Because yes, you've never been on the bandwagon for Jemiah and Huda to be together. But at the same time, we don't see you actually saying it to this girl's face. Because if you was my girl, I would want you to say it to me, okay? Not behind my back. So even though all this is happening, Jemiah once again tries to pull Huda for a chat. I don't know why Jemiah tried to pull Huda for a chat, but they go and have a chat. Jemiah's like, I've been thinking and I needed a few days to sleep on it, and I understand where things went wrong. You know, he acknowledges that they were intimate way too fast. He acknowledges that they did not have a period where they were just friends. And ideally, Jemiah continuously says he came into the house to find a best friend and then to find a relationship, which again, that's ideal when you go into relationships. You should not just be going after someone because of the physical connection. You can have a physical connection with anyone. You can grow a physical connection. And the fact that they did this so fast, he wanted to bring things back. Huda did not want to hear that. Huda said, who's bringing what back? We're never going back to normal. How can we just forget what happened? And she did not want to hear that. So she starts yelling again, and she starts cussing him out again. And everybody's like, ooh, what's happening? I give it to Jemiah for actually trying. Do I think it was too soon? Maybe. But do I think it was too late? Yes. But I also think that he was trying to process everything and really come up with and really figure out how he was going to deliver what he had to say to Huda without her cutting him off and not hearing him. But at the same time, she still didn't hear him. She still didn't listen, and she didn't care. On the walk away, Huda screams at him. Everybody's already looking like what's going on. And she goes and sits with the group, and the group is like, why did she walk over here? So you got Pepe and Hannah, they get up and walk away. Sierra and Sierra gets up and walk away. Like, slowly everybody started walking away, and then you only left Taylor and Nick there staring at each other like, why are we still listening to this? At this point, Taylor's like, I have nothing more to give. Either she's gonna take the advice or she's not. It's just like, it's draining, and you're draining your castmates. And I think at this point, they would want you out. I would assume they would want you out because it's causing all this drama, but who knows where everyone's head's at? Maybe everyone wants to see everyone happy, but that's not this show. That's not how it goes. Somebody has to go home. So I'm just going to get off the Huda and Jemiah train just for a second because we got Shelly over there messing with Austin one more time. So basically, Shelly just trying to stir up conversation between Austin and see where things are with them. And, you know, I think it was nice that she went into his world. But I think, again, like, they're just such good friends. I don't see this going anywhere. I think the conversations that she does have with Austin are a little bit more than the conversations that she have with Ace. I feel like with Ace, their conversations are very mediocre. They joke around a lot. He constantly moving the hair out her face. It's very cutesy, but at what point are we going to see them actually indulge in a real conversation? You have people leaving the island. You have couples literally blowing up in our face. And either we're going to make this a thing or we're not. Because they do need to start to find a couple so that they actually can compete for the money. So at the end of the night, it's time for the girls to get walked from the stairs. So Jemiah already told the boys, you know what? I'm going to walk Iris from the stairs. Not only did he walk her from the stairs, they were matching, okay? And they looked good, okay? So at this point, they walk to the table. Huda already starts crying, breaking down. She's upset that he didn't look at her. He didn't talk to her. Like, you just called him a bitch, and you want this man to continuously to check on you. So while this is happening, you got Austin and Amaya having a really deep conversation. But Hannah, why are you caught blocking? She's screaming, like, while they're having a conversation. I love that Till was like, yo, chill, because you're making it hard. Let them have their moment. You got Pepe, ain't nobody saying to you. Like, stop trying to draw attention to what's going on when they need to have their moment. Give them a moment to really feel each other out, to have a connection. Every time you was kissing Pepe, nobody was screaming at you or, hey, go look at Hannah. You was doing what you was doing in the dark without nobody knowing. And what we did not see coming was Ariana through the door during all of this. Ariana's abs are so cut. I'm just like, give me the workout routine. Please give me the workout routine. So Ariana has everybody come to the fire pit and she lets them know it's a recoupling and somebody is going home tonight. And I really like this recoupling because the girls were able to decide who they really want to lock in with without any hesitation or intimidation, without any judging. Like, I felt like this was the best recoupling ever. So the girls had to stand behind a door and the guys would walk up to the door to basically say, this is the person that I want to couple with. But before the recoupling even happened, the girls would put into the poll who they wanted to recouple in, lock it, and ideally it would either lock or unlock the door for the guy who would walk in front of the door. Nick went first. So, of course, Nick picked Sierra, which we all knew. But at this point, I feel like Nick wasn't hesitant about it. I feel like right now, Nick is understanding the purpose of this game, you know? Then you got Pepe. Pepe walked up to Hannah's door, and honestly, I was a little nervous. I didn't think that she was not going to pick Pepe, but at the same time, I felt like she needed time to really fill him out. But the door was unlocked. I love that there was no hesitation between them and they went ahead and sat down. Then it was Austin. So I think it was funny because Austin walked all the way down to the last door to the first door. And at first everybody was like, you know what? He's probably gonna pick Shelly. But Pepe whispers to Hannah, he's going to choose something different. And that's exactly what he did. He stood in front of Amaya's door. The door was unlocked for him. And they both said they're excited to see where things go. And I love that for them. But Shelly was over there in a confessional telling something. I didn't even know Austin had a thing for Amaya. Who knows? Because that conversation might come up where Austin kissed Amaya on the dog, which it hasn't yet. But she was surprised at the fact that Austin and Maya did become a new couple. Then you got our boy Ace. Now, I know everybody was so excited for this one because Ace could have went either way. Ace could have picked Iris or he could have picked Shelly. And I was a little nervous for this one because I felt like Shelly may have had the door locked on Ace and open for Austin. But I feel like she knew her hearts to hearts she did not like Austin. And again, with everything going on and people getting kicked out and X, Y, and Z, I think it was definitely time for Shelly to really decide who she wants to be with, and same for Ace. So y'all know what happened. Ace chooses Shelly. And I think they both was excited about it. Ace kisses Shelly, and I think America was very happy to see this because now we can actually see their relationship develop, or we can see them get through some tough times, which they have already. So I am excited to see them go on a date maybe in the next episode. I don't know. But I was very pleased to see that Ace finally chose Shelly. So it was Jalen's turn. And y'all, it was definitely nerve-wracking to watch Jalen walk up to Olandria's door. Jalen is such a nice guy. I definitely feel like whoever Jalen ends up with, it's going to be amazing for him. But yes, Olandria's door was locked on Jalen. And I did feel bad for Olandria because this was a hard decision for her. She has one guy who's, you know, complimenting her and being physical with her, but then she has another guy who's very timid and shy, but she gets along with him so well. But at the same time, you have to think about what's going to last in the long run. I do hope to see that Tilla does step up a little bit more when it comes down to planning dates and just doing anything special for Olandria. It was sad to see Jalen have to go sit down in the bleachers because, yeah, it just wasn't right for him. So because Jalen had to go sit down, it was Tilla's turn. Tilla went to Olandria's door. The door was open for her, and I love that. Now, Tilla did not kiss Olandria when she opened her door. Once again, it does say a lot, but I just think they don't like the PDA in front of everybody. Whether he doesn't like it or she doesn't like it, someone doesn't like it. Then lastly, y'all, this decision was so hard to watch. It was Jeremiah's turn. It was between Iris or HUDA. I thought it was great that everybody was behind the doors. So Jeremiah actually had the opportunity to decide without HUDA staring him down. And as we know, Jeremiah picked Iris. Everyone's face was like, what? How could you? Everybody looked like they took a shit in their pants. But Jeremiah, I think, was definitely over the tornado. I think it becomes a lot for him. And even outside of the villa, without the parameters of security and things that they have, I think it would have just been worse for Jeremiah. And pretty much, Huda opens her door. She sees all the couples. She's crying just a little bit. But first thing she yells out is, "Good job, Jeremiah. You picked a safe bet, Jeremiah. You don't even like Iris." And really just trying to make this girl feel so down about herself. And it's just like, Iris has nothing to do with it. You know, you can continue to talk about Jeremiah, but for you to constantly try to bring other females into your mess, it is sad, and it's honestly so hard to watch because I don't even understand why she is still on this show. So once again, it was time for the Islanders to decide who was going to stay. I'm just going to read it down, who stood behind who. You had Sierra stand behind Huda. You had Nick stand behind Jalen, which I was not surprised about. You have Amaya stand behind Huda, which I was not surprised about. You have Austin stand behind Jalen. I wasn't surprised because I think Austin's ready for Huda to go home. You have Shelly standing behind Huda, but guess what? They walked as a couple, and guess who else stood behind Huda? Ace. And at that point, Huda goes, "Thanks, my guy." And Ace said, "Nah, I'm good." Hell no. And I just don't understand why Ace did stand behind Huda, because that was an opportunity to send Huda home, and you didn't. So I really am confused why he stood behind Huda. Let me keep going. Iris stands behind Huda, and I was just so confused. Like, she literally, if security was not here, would have smacked you into next week. Like, I don't even understand why you decided to protect this girl. Maybe you felt bad. Maybe you just didn't want to look like the villain on the show. But girl, you had an opportunity to send her home and you did not do it. Jeremiah goes and stands behind Jalen. You got Olandria standing behind Huda. You got Taylor standing behind Huda. You got Hannah standing behind Huda. You got Pepe standing behind Jalen. So Jalen ends up going home. Everybody's telling Jalen they're sorry that he left. But y'all definitely failed Jeremiah. I feel like this is just more drama that's going to be added. You know, again, they already had intercourse. They were real intimate with each other. And it's just a cause for destruction. I don't see Huda trying to talk to nobody else right now. I don't think a new Bombshell coming into Villa will change anything. I just think that the cast failed everybody when they voted. All right, you all, it is time for the awards, and I want to give MVP to Sierra 2 times. One, she tried to tell Huda, you know what? I think it's just a done deal between you and Jeremiah. This is when they was sitting down in like the cabana area. Then she tries to talk to her again before the fire pit. Like, how about you just stop calling him out his name? Because no one is telling Huda about herself. No one is saying, yo, you gotta chill, except for Sierra. And I think at this point, Sierra just doesn't care anymore. But again, she still voted for her. So I still just don't know which way Sierra goes, but I'll still give her MVP. Best dress, y'all. I'm going to give best dress to Ariana. I think Ariana deserved best dress because that pink was, listen, she was eating that dress up. The abs, the body, the hair, the face. I love every time Ariana comes on to the villa because she just looks so good. And at this point, I don't know, it's gonna be real hard to start giving out best dress because everybody's starting to look like they've been there for a month, and we might have to change their award around. Vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Y'all already know who I want voted out. I want them to go. I'm sick, I'm tired. Give me somebody new, okay? I want to vote out Huda. I'm tired of it. I think she's disrespectful. I think she really needs time to figure out what she needs and wants out of life, and I just don't think it's a man. So can we just take her to another villa, bring in Casa? I don't know, but she just has to go, and maybe we can get some type of other dramatics from this because right now we're not getting it. I think, yes, this is all the drama that we have, but I need something else. All right, you all, it is tweet time, and this is where we look at some of the outrageous and top tweets on Twitter. So from Heroic Viewer, wait, she has a kid, Jeremiah and Olandria. So basically, Austin is sitting with Jeremiah and Olandria, and they start talking about what's going on, and they basically yell out that she has a kid in front of Austin. And they're like, let me be quiet, let me not say nothing, don't tell nobody. But I think at this point, everybody in the villa already knows that she has a kid now. And honestly, by the next episode, I think everybody's gonna know she has a kid. From Nate's K, these people just spent an entire day talking shit about Huda just to vote to save her in the end. I never want to hear them complain again. Exactly. I don't want to hear y'all complain. Y'all had an opportunity to vote this girl out and you didn't, especially Ace. So from Bria Celeste, Hannah once Charlie walked out the villa doors. Exactly. The girl said 60 seconds is up. She definitely played the game how she needed to play it. I do think she was more interested in Pepe. And as though Charlie was her type, I just think they didn't really have that real connection or that spark that she wanted, and she was just saving face. So from Saida, had it been a black woman acting that way? Yeah. Because if it was a black woman going crazy now, I've heard this was not the first time that they've had these blow-ups on Love Island. I only watched season 6 and season 7 of Love Island. But if it was a black woman who was acting the way Huda's acting, it would have been, she's ghetto, vote her off. You got everybody in their mother defending Huda's behavior. You got people talking about some coming in the villa, I'm him, I'll do it for her. And it's just like, but what if it was a black woman who did it? Y'all would have called her wild, ghetto, and some other crazy names. But it's time for my predictions, y'all. So at the end of the episode, you got the girls like crying. You know, Sierra's like, I saved her twice. I'm not gonna save her again. This is the last straw. I don't know what happened, but I do know Huda probably cussed Jeremiah out. I think she cussed him out once again. You know, Iris was crying, and I don't think it's fair that she is beaten down on both of them. I don't think it's fair that the whole house has to deal with this. And I really just want to see something different. I do want to see maybe a new Bombshell come in, but I also feel like the next elimination, she needs to go home. I see Austin and Amaya's relationship definitely flourishing. And you know what? I feel like Austin's going to do a little bit more for Amaya than she did for Shelly. I feel like Austin's one of those guys where it's like, I'm not going to pull out these stops and do all these tricks and stuff, especially if you have another guy doing it for you or you're showing that much interest into another guy. But if a new Bombshell does come in, maybe Amaya might go for that. She tried Pepe, but Pepe definitely was not interested in her. So I do want to see what happens with those two. But listen, y'all, that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap. I hope it was enough to catch y'all up. We will be back, okay? We will be back Thursday night live at 8:30, 8:50-ish, and we will be watching episode 15 of Love Island. I thank y'all so much. Y'all know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.